Dear friends, welcome back. In this video, I'd like to continue our series of Vulnhub, which is Sunset Sunrise. The link will be added into the description section below so that you can download and play the machine. Although this machine is, at the beginner level, however, there's some sorts of rabbit hole and some problems you may have. For example, although this machine is built on the VirtualBox, based on my experience, this machine works better with the VMWARE rather than VirtualBox. When you use the VirtualBox to do this machine, and when it comes to the privilege escalation, you will get the error, the segmentation error. I think if you want, you can try yourself. So without further ado, let's just get started. We can switch over to the Kali Linux VM. And we can navigate to my working directory. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target. The utility I'd like to use is netdiscover. As you can see over here, the IP address of the target could be recognized as 168. So what are we going to do next? We need to do the port and surface scanning with a map. To save time of this video, I've already completed before. So for now, we just get out its result. As you can see over here, I used the options like scene scan, the virtual scan, the default script scan, and followed by the -p- to do the full range port scan. The last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. Although, as you notice here, the IP address of the target has been changed from the first time when I did the machine. And from the map scanning, we can tell that the target has 1, 2, 3, 4 open port numbers in total. So let's take a look at these open port numbers one by one. The first one is 22, which is running SSH service or secure shell service, and also the version information. I don't think we can find any vulnerability for this particular version of the OpenSSH except the username enumeration vulnerability, which is not what we want at this point. The second one is 80, which is running HTTP service and also the version information, and give us the directory and even the file name. Of course, afterwards we can check it out manually. And the next one is 3306. Maybe, this port number is used by the MyCircle, but the nmap cannot make sure, okay? And the last one is 8080, which is running HTTP proxy, and this should be the version information, okay? So what do we have to do next? I think, first of all, I'd like to check out, the MySQL service to see whether this MySQL is vulnerable to the weak credential. Just I mentioned in the other videos. Yeah, this always the, some sort of a methodology. We can use the MySQL. And the IP address would be 168. Press enter. Password is root. However, this doesn't work, okay? So I think next it's time to enumerate the web application on 2 port numbers. Let's start with the first port number or default port number 80. Let's open up the browser and put the IP address of the target. IP address of the target into the address bar. So this would be, press enter, and we got the page back. And there is one file we can click, and we got the default injects a page back. As usual, we can check its source code. Can we check? Nothing special, okay, or nothing interesting. Next, we can check whether this site has robots file or not. Press enter, not found. Next, we can launch the Ligto to do the automatic enumeration. A lot of output by the Ligto. For example, the allowed HTTP methods, the directory, icons. Nothing special. Next, we can launch GoBuster to do the directory enumeration. Okay, and use the option of -W to specify the word list. The buster, I always use this word list for most cases. Okay, press enter. In the meantime, we can take a look at the second port number, 880. And we got the version information for this service. We can copy, and we can note it down to our notebook. So next, I think we can open up a new tab, and we can use such a sprite. To see whether this surface is vulnerable or not. It's vulnerable, and from the version exact matches. So directory traversal vulnerability, and we can get the code. Of course, this case is not a code, maybe some sort of instruction of this exploit, and we can cut out this file. You know, as you can see, this application or this service is vulnerable to the directory traversal. And I think this should be the POC or exploit. We can retrieve the password file, okay? And I don't think we can find anything from the GoBuster. So to save time, I'd like to interrupt here, okay? So next, I think we need to check whether we can access or retrieve the password file. We can copy. And we can press enter. Yeah, indeed we can. And we have already successfully retrieved the file. And I think we can get to know the username information. This is one of users. And another one is Sunrise. Okay. So next, because the target is vulnerable to the local file inclusion vulnerability or travel. Oh, sorry, this should be the directory traversal vulnerability. So next, I think we can access some other files. For example, we need to check whether we can access the private key, okay? So maybe we can use the terminal or command line to do this. We can use the Q Yeah, we can. And then we can try to, access home and the user sunrise. And private key. Let's press enter. However, nothing returned. And we can change the username to the another one. Web ORF. Press enter. And next we can check whether we can access or retrieve the log file. Okay, so how to do? var and log nothing returned. And next we can check whether we can retrieve the injects, the access log of the injects. So this should be injects and access log. Nothing returned. So how to do? Actually, we need to get more information since we can make directory traversal. So next, I think we can use the directory enumeration 2, derp, and we can copy. We can use we can copy. And we can use the home and the username sunrise. Okay, press enter. Also, I think we need to use the slash. Okay. And now the dub star enumeration for the directory sunrise. This is the home directory of the user sunrise. And to see whether we can find something interesting. Okay, I'd like to pause the video. When it's done, I will come back. See you there. All right, it's over. As you can see, I've already completed the directory enumeration for the user, the home directory of user sunrise. Similarly, I did the same thing for the user web ORF. And however, only one file caught our attention. This one, my circle. So I think we can retrieve this file to see whether we can find something interesting. Okay, so now we can home web ORF and my circle history. And as you can see, we got some my circle statement, auto user, and this should be the username, and this should be the password. So I think we can copy this information and paste to our notebook. Since this should be the credentials for the database, so next we can use this credential to connect to the database. Again, my circle, and the username should be web ORF, and the password press enter, and we can copy the password from my notebook, paste here. But the host, the Linux is not allowed to connect to this MariaDB server, which means that maybe this database is only allowed locally. Okay, so anyway, next we can try to, because just now we already know that the two users, web ORF and Sunrise. So next we can check whether the password reuse vulnerability exists. Okay, so now we can use SSH and web ORF, followed by the IP address of the target. Press enter, yes, and paste the password. It does work. Okay, fantastic. So next, what can we do? We can go to the home directory to make some local immersion, and go to the Sunrise. We can grab the user flag without a problem. Okay, so next also we can check the kernel. This kernel, based on my experience, it's not easy to find the kernel exploit. Okay, so next we need to make more immersion. However, no such a file, and we can go to the var, go to the backups, nothing there. Okay, and now we can, maybe, just now we have already got the credentials for the database. So next we can connect to the database we can navigate to temp. We can use MySQL, and the username should be web ORF, and the password, we can copy the password. Okay, and we can show database, and we can use the second database because this may be, contains some information, right? And show tables, and we can dump data from the user table. Maybe I can, and we got something back, and the username root, and also the password, but this password is encrypted password. However, the username Sunrise, and the password is clear text. So we can copy and paste over here. The future is so bright. It got weird shades. Anyway, so now I think we can exit from the MySQL, and we try to switch our shell to another user, Sunrise, with this password. Okay, very long password, and paste over here. It does work. So next we can, for example, we need to check whether we can elevate the shell to the root user. We can check sudo. I think we can utilize the wine, a binary or utility to elevate our privilege. How to do? As you know, the wine is, is to simulate the Windows environment on the Linux, and we can use this wine to execute the executable normally, which is, used or used in the Windows system. Okay, so how to do? We can create the payload with MS Vellum. We can use MS Vellum, and the payload should be Windows, Metprettor, reverse TCP, localhost would be Kali Linux, and local port number would be any free port number on the Kali Linux, and the format should be executable over Windows. And we can share. Okay. And then we can launch the Metasploit console to set up the handler to wait for the collection from the target, right? In the meantime, we can upload this payload to the target. And to do that, we can set up the web server on the Kali Linux. And then we can go to the temp directory. And shell. Okay. And we can make it executable. And then we can use sudo wine and shell. Before I hit enter, we need to configure the handler and set up the handler. Exploit multi-handler. Set the payload to be this one. We can copy from this command when we create the payload with MSF Vellum. We can set localhost to Kali Linux. Set local port number to this one, and then we can just run it. The handler has started, and then we can press enter. I think it's working. Again, if you use the VirtualBox, maybe you will get error at this step, at this point. But if you use the VMWARE, it's fine. As you can see, I think we have already got the Metprettor session. We can get the UID, which is root, and also we can we can go to the root directory, and then we can grab the root flag without a problem, right? We can get out. Okay, so that's all I'd like to do in this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Have a nice day, please.